Hello, Internet. My name is Patch Kanen, and welcome to my first episode of Patch Chats with my very first guest, Capin Morgon. You might know Capin Morgon from her Twitter account, if not, because she only has 10 followers? You got 10, right?
10, yeah.
Yeah. She's got 10 followers. Follow her on Twitter. She posts memes, and she might like your shit, plus she's adorable. Why don't you introduce yourself a little bit? Tell the audience who you are.
I'm Katen Morgon. What more do you need to know?
Well, how about where'd your name come from? How'd you get the name?
There's a very long story started in high school with that, but I like rum.
You like rum?
Let's just stick with that. Rum is good.
We'll have to have a shot once we're done. Today we're talking about video games because this is going to be just kind of us talking over, maybe a little bit of review, and you can give it a grade if you want to. I know you like to grade things, but we're looking at 7 Days to Die. It's a game on PC and console, but we're not reviewing the console one because I don't play console. Do you play console?
Sometimes I'm a little bit of an Xbox gamer, but I'm learning to do the keyboard stuff. My fingers don't like to move that way.
It took me a bit of getting used to on the other spectrum because I played PC games forever. When I first picked up a controller, I was like, my giant hands. It's like, the fuck is this? Oh, right, the NES.
See, I grew up on the Nintendo, so it's...
I think I had my first computer before I had my first console. My parents did not want to buy any fucking gaming consoles, but my mom had been using computers. She worked for a computer company, and so she needed to learn the computer, so she got one at home, and I got really good with it real quick.
See, quite the opposite. My grandpa loved video games, would never, to this day, still won't touch a computer. So that's where I learned it all.
Yeah, my dad was the same way. He sat down at a computer once, I think I was like 13 years old, and he fucking sat down, and he was just like, he did something that a bunch of pop-ups came in and shit. He walked away from it. I'm never using this again, not once. And now he's a smartphone user. He's got a laptop. He has a tablet. He's a fucking geek. He's new age geekdom. It's ridiculous.
That's awesome.
But that's a different story. We're talking zombies, and we're going to be talking because it's essentially a Minecraft ripoff while doing better graphics for the most part.
So we've heard. I've never played Minecraft, so I don't know.
You've never played Minecraft?
No.
Don't. You're not missing anything.
Yeah, that's why I haven't.
I mean, you like Legos, right?
Yeah.
It's like Legos without any of the fun of Legos.
But I love stepping on Legos. I can't step on a video game. I mean, I can, but then the whole thing's broken. Not just my foot.
Yeah, and that's an expensive little break, isn't it? You got a new computer recently, didn't you?
Yeah, it's a really nice one.
Yeah, you're a happy camper.
He's so purdy.
Yeah, you got the one with the RGB coloring in it too.
Yes, and splashes rainbows.
You're one of those people who like to, hey, check out my computer. Now look at my car, and it's like the same level of impressiveness to it. You're just like, yeah, I love that shit.
They're both white with rainbows, so yeah.
Oh shit, the gay community is going to be right on board with you. You've been playing 7 Days to Die, which is if you're unfamiliar, it's a zombie survival game that has virtually no story, and you're running around an open world, building, destroying, and essentially trying to survive against the horde of zombies. Is that accurate?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. From on paper, it sounds as cookie cutter as it gets from a bunch of games on Steam. What to you makes that game worth playing for you?
They have an absolutely gorgeous environment. Like, played Fallout. That was my big video game, and this actually rivals that.
Which is kind of funny because it gets a bunch of shit for its graphics. They're not awesome graphics, but everything looks semi-seamless. There's so many areas where, in Minecraft, I can tell where the blocks are. They've gotten so much better with hiding their blocks.
Yes, and they put details where you don't expect. Like the sky is amazing in that.
I remember I had popped on the game a little bit ago. How many hours you got, by the way?
On the game?
Roughly.
Oh, shoot.
100? More?
At least.
At least 100 hours? I probably have somewhere in the realm of 200 to 300, but I've been playing the game a bit longer than you. I was actually the one that got you addicted to the game. But I hadn't been playing much of Alpha 19 with all the shit that's been going on, so I only have like maybe 8 hours into the game. How many hours do you have? 20?
Into 19, yeah, 15 to 20.
And it's it's not as big of a difference from, say, Alpha 16 to Alpha 17, because Alpha 16 and 17 fundamentally changed a lot of the game, the way it had worked. I believe Alpha 17 was the one that introduced the sleeper zombies as they are now, hiding in that you walk in and they're now sleeping in the buildings.
Yeah.
Prior to that, all buildings had been empty.
Oh.
So you'd break into a building and there'd be nobody in it.
Huh.
However, the second you broke into a building, because of the way the game worked, you would get spawns of zombies on you coming from the outside, which made at least the game challenging. But it was always funny to break into a boarded up room, and nothing.
Yeah, that's odd.
Where did the guys get out? I mean, it would have made sense if they put corpses in rooms that were boarded up, like they died in there. But still, it was always like, we don't have to sneak in. There's nobody in there. Now breaking into a building is a whole new gameplay. For me, the game, the reason it was the thing that I liked was ever since I was like 13 or 14 years old, I was always looking for kind of essentially a zombie simulator. I've always been into zombie movies, zombie anything. Undead was they were my people. When I started playing this game, I was watching a YouTube channel called Game Society Pimps, which I also turned you on to.
A little bit.
And watching them play, by the time I was on episode 4 or 5, I had to buy the game. But here's the thing. They had like 80 episodes of their gameplay on 7 Days to Die, which means by the time I was 20 episodes in or whatever, I wasn't in the alpha anymore. So the game I bought was not the game I was watching them play.
I know the feeling there.
So I jump in and I didn't like it at first because the game was really buggy in that particular alpha when I bought it. Luckily, they fixed most of the problems. It was mostly stability issues. But I've stuck with this game despite all the changes because I'm not a big fan of their go for the Fallout direction. Mm-hmm. I don't really... I thought Fallout by itself was a fine series, let it be, and if you want to pay homage to it in ways, it's fine. But from what I understand, Joel is pretty much trying to create a zombie apocalypse version of what was the Fallout base. And for me, I wanted to play a kind of a purist zombie game. That was my interest. I wanted to see what it was like to be able to set up a Walking Dead style with the governor. You didn't watch much Walking Dead, did you?
No, I didn't.
Okay. There's a season where there's a guy. His name's Governor, and he has a walled off section of town that he has made secure from the zombies, and it's essentially trying to create a normalized version of society. Yeah. In the middle of zombie apocalypse. Spoiler alert, it fails. But it was nice to see how they did that, and I wanted to do that. And you technically can. However, there are so many new additions to this game that makes not only it certainly more challenging, but it kind of takes me out of the realm of realism, or at least the realm of what do they call it when you're getting into a game?
Immersion.
Immersion. Thank you. When I was trying to get into the immersion part of the game, I kept having it broken by the dogs. I fucking hate the dogs. And they're not even the ones I hate the most. Oh. I hate vultures. How do you feel about the vultures in that game?
Vultures. Those are...
Yeah.
No.
Here's the thing. I understand why they have it in there because of the fact that a lot of people were building towers and things like that.
Right.
But still, the one zombie that should have been immersion breaking but isn't is the cop zombie.
Yeah. And
the cop zombies typically take care of most towers with with flying vomit. So your favorite or the thing that kept you playing was the look of it, the immersion aspect of it, the beauty of the environment in the game.
That and the fact that it's ever growing. You bought it once and it's not done, which is usually like a scary thing. Uh-huh. But they keep making it better. So,
and that's something that I really needs to be addressed for the Fun Pimps, because this game's been in alpha for going, I believe, 3, maybe even 4 years now. I'm of the opinion that it's actually in beta. They're just fucking chicken shit about calling it beta. Because it's as close to a finished game that I think it's going to be, with the exception of a few tweaking things, maybe a couple of story elements. But for all intents and purposes, the game is completely playable.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't know why they refuse to call it a beta game now at this point. I'm not sure what the hesitation is there. Maybe it has to do a business angle. I don't know. It's just one of those things that, as much as you're saying, yes, the game's constantly evolving, I don't want to buy a game that by the end of it is completely unrecognizable from when I bought it.
True.
But when it comes to buying an alpha game, you kind of know that going in. So
right.
I was okay with that because I figured this is going to be the core fundamental of the game. And they're going to build stabilization. They're going to improve the graphics, maybe widen out zombies style or design, weapons design, crafting. And they have. But now they've added quests, skill points.
Yeah.
And the game has gotten a bit what I would call micromanagey. Which is not, some people may like that. I don't mind it. It's not like a brutal killer of the game for me, but I would like to be able to delegate some of those responsibilities to say, I don't know, NPCs.
Oh yeah, that would make it so much nicer. But then again, you're getting more into that Fallout thing that you were saying you don't really want.
But there would be survivors in a zombie apocalypse, correct?
True.
So
True.
I don't
Definitely
really, I don't consider that completely Fallout related, although it could be. My realm of thinking when it came to the Fallout thing was the fucking perk systems and shit.
Yeah.
I've kind of grown out of the RPG element where I pick my things. I liked how they not originally, I think it was Alpha 13 or maybe even Alpha 12 or Alpha 14, one of those, where they started bringing this idea in, but it had to do with what you did. So if you bashed things with an axe all day long, you would be massively great at crafting and using axes. You would suck at everything else.
Yeah.
And it was essentially a user. So everything you did increased your skills without having you to put a bunch of points into stuff. And now I'm always worried about getting the wrong skills.
Yeah.
And wasting points.
I find myself making spreadsheets of what everything is so I can keep track of what I've already taken, what I need to take, what I want to do to build the right character I want.
As opposed to playing the game and having the game cater to the way you're playing to be the character you want.
Yeah.
See, I appreciated that that direction they had started with and then kind of abandoned. And they've also put almost every buildable behind a learning wall.
Yes. It's kind of annoying.
Kinda, especially with their loot. They've nerfed all loot across the board. And that's half of the fun. But if they give you all the loot immediately, it makes longevity of the game kind of,
True.
It makes it short. But at the same time, if I'm running around constantly starving because every single place I've looted has no food in it, not one,
and
maybe it's a little close to reality with zombie apocalypse, but it's making the micromanaging not fun anymore.
Especially since they made hunger more prominent.
Yeah.
I guess it's you get hungry faster.
And it affects you more.
Yeah.
It used to be when you got hungry, it would just affect your stamina regen a little bit, but now it takes your stamina down and you'll start to lose actual maximum stamina.
Yeah.
So, a lot of tweaks that they had made in the game. Some of them good, some of them, I wouldn't say bad, but I don't think they're as good as they were prior to. I think they added way too much detail of where you have to go and do all the little shit, the minutia of the game, where it's stand around, organize your fucking chests, that kind of thing. That at first I was annoyed by, but at the same time I'm a hoarder, so now it's kind of fun to open up chests and go, oh shit.
Yeah. I get a little OCD with my stuff sometimes, and it has got me killed on a time or two.
Yeah.
I'm organizing my pockets and don't hear the zombie coming up behind me.
That's the thing that I wanted to bring up. Thank you for reminding me. Their audio in that game needs some serious tweaking. Either the zombies are so fucking loud that you have to turn the volume of the game down.
Yeah.
Or they're so fucking quiet that they're the Walking Dead jump cut zombies that just show up out of nowhere to bite your guy that you just saved, if there were guys to save.
Yeah, it's kind of cruddy. I don't like.
It is an alpha game, so like I said, it's going to be constantly tweaked, and I like I said, I think it's a beta game, but which is still being constantly tweaked. But as a whole, it runs so much better in Alpha 19. Oh, yeah. The zombie battles, I won't lie, I love seeing the arrows sticking out of them.
Yes.
I kind of wish you could grab them while they were still alive.
I feel like sometimes you can, because I swear I did, but I don't know.
I've tried, but it won't let it never takes them, and unless it's taking them but not taking it off the body. Yeah,
I think it's just not showing it coming off of them until after they die, because I've done it where I was attacking them through a fence. I was, being a chicken shit doing it. I was at a trader that it was one of the log cabiny ones where you could get through the fence, and I was shooting them through it, and I ran out of arrows, and I was just like, I took my arrows back off them. So it was kind of fun.
little tip and trick for those other zombie players. If you're at one of the traders that have the logs, you can attack the zombies through the little triangle or square holes in there, and they can't get through. Although it's annoying.
They can't get to you, and there's barbed wire out there that they can't destroy, so they're stuck.
And it's hurting them.
It's hurting them. They can't, as much, if you get close enough, they can attack you through it too. Yeah. But they can't attack the trader because he's protected.
Yeah, but that's the one thing that I do find fucking obnoxious, especially if you end up living next to a trader, is if you get a wandering horde, you'll just all of a sudden hear pshing, 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 pshing all day long.
I may or may not know exactly how that is, because I may or may not have my most current base set up right across from a trader.
Yeah, the other one is I know they need to let people know when it opens and closes, but seriously, turn that fucking sound down. Fuck.
Yes, the loudspeaker does not need to be on full blast.
I have mine at like 25, level 25 volume in the game, and I'm wearing headphones. If I'm far away, I can kind of hear it just fine, but if you're anywhere near it, that shit makes your ears bleed.
Yeah.
So, my big gripe about the game though has always been the zombie horde, NPCs and zombie horde. They've not figured out the best way to make a zombie apocalypse really feel like it yet. It's probably closer to like a rapture situation where instead of with zombies spread out every now and then. Yeah. Everybody disappeared, and then here's a sprinkling of zombies. What I always thought they could have done to make it at least look like a horde was to create a unit that was essentially, say, for lack of a better example, 25 zombies. But it was the size of what 25 zombies would be. You'd have 25 heads, and they're moving as a unit. But it's one unit instead of 25 zombies. As you start to drop its health, it'll spit zombies out individually as it's dropping health until it finally breaks apart into, say, 8 zombies.
I just picture body parts flying out of his massive faces.
Exactly. Exactly. Just all of a sudden, the zombie just gets flung out of the pile. Like a mosh pit. But imagine that, and then on Blood Moon Night, you get those clusters of zombies. Your base would be overrun like it should be. Yeah. The game has 2 big fundamental things that have going against it. One of them is it has an extremely harsh learning curve for anyone coming in. Yeah. Just coming into the game, if you've never played it, you're looking at a lot of information and a lot of stuff and not a lot of how-to on much of it. Yeah. It's very figure it out yourself.
Very little tutorial, anything.
They got that. They do have that opening quest, which teaches you a bit. Certainly, punching trees and things. That's what I always, whenever I get in the game, I'm like, zombie apocalypse, what's the first thing you got to do? Punch some fucking grass, man. It's what you do in this. And trees. The other thing that it does, that has working against it, other than that learning curve, is that once you do learn it, it has a difficulty curve that drops down once you get to a certain point. No matter, even with the blood moons being as harsh as they are, sure, you can up the difficulty and everything. There's always that. Yeah. But the feel of, oh God, I can't leave because I'm literally surrounded by zombies. Yeah. Never occurs. Yeah. The best you're going to get is maybe trapped in a building with a bunch of zombies. Right. But if you're like, say, a fan of Dawn of the Dead, which was a movie about people trapped in a mall with a sea of zombies.
Yeah.
That will never happen. The game can't handle that many zombies.
Right. I just picture like World War Z where they're waving up that
the
wall.
side of the gotta get Brad Pitt. Fuck that guy.
I can do without that. But that's another episode.
We'll review Brad Pitt one day. We'll go and talk about how much he's awesome. Am I right? Am I right? Just awesome. The best. Your awkward silence is amusing. Now, what aspect of the game bothers you the most? Like the one that makes it like where I just want to quit. Because there are times where I just have to walk away from the game because I'm fucking frustrated.
One of my biggest gripes ever playing the fucking game. Goddamn ladders.
They have improved them.
But holy shit, they make them hard to climb sometimes. And it's just like it's a ladder. You climb up it.
You would think that they would have figured out the locking mechanism that I think Fallout 4 did, where you would approach a ladder or I can't remember what game you would approach a ladder and it'd give you a trigger to press a button and then you're on the ladder and you have to press it again to let go of the ladder. That would work much better so that I'm not accidentally, because I looked over here while I'm climbing the ladder and oh shit, my character just wandered off the side of the ladder.
I have fallen from a 30-story tower and died because of that. It's ridiculous.
There's also the aspect of when you're trying to go down a ladder, it's fundamentally backwards.
Yeah.
They want you to, like you're walking downstairs, so you have to look down at the ladder and then walk that direction, in which you'll trigger the ladder. But then you have to quickly change it because what it'll end up doing is when you're pressing down while looking down, it'll for some reason send you up.
Yeah.
Or moving, you're pressing up while looking down so you can go down the ladder, but it triggers and then immediately sends you up because up on the game is up.
Yeah. It's
not very intuitive on the ladder system, I will give you that. Plus trying to jump and grab, it's always been a little buggy. I'm just glad that they're not I'm just glad they're not paper thin ladders like they used to be, where you would, there'd be a ladder right by you and you'd run right past it and never see it because it blend in with the other textures. But the one that gets me all the time is animals. Certainly in Alpha 19, Alpha 18 had a very different problem with animals. They didn't spawn them enough. Yeah. So you'd be starving to death.
Yeah.
Now they're spawning so many, and they're not fun animals.
No, first time I opened up 19, my started with 3 chickens and a rabbit around me. Go about 30 yards, and there was 4 wolves.
Certainly an added challenge to the game, but I was here to play a zombie game, not a hunter and gatherer. Not a hunting game.
Yeah.
But I can get it. I do get it. They've overemphasized the vicious animals versus the not vicious animals, with the exception of now, where you're getting loads and loads of chickens and rabbits, which are now easier to kill.
Yeah.
I thank them up and down for. I'd never chase rabbits because I could never get them.
Mm-hmm. Same.
I would need a machine gun.
Yeah.
Or a shotgun.
Which you don't get anymore.
Yeah, that's the other thing about... and here's the thing, there was a balancing problem with that, because when I was playing Alpha 18, they got rid of, I believe, the parts, the gun parts. So you were finding full guns.
Yeah, instead of parts.
Just the part, because really, who was putting gun parts in their fucking saves?
Yeah.
Safes? Safes? Who cares? It's English. English is stupid. They would be filled with these gun parts that were useless. Yeah. And you would have to jump through hoops to even learn how to make them. So the odds of ever finding a gun was damn near nil, unless you were, a toilet they would have a pistol in once in a while.
Yeah.
That's sad that they did this. So they went the other direction and left a bunch of guns everywhere. Now everybody had guns way too early.
Yeah.
So they took it back, and now all you're getting are blunderbusses.
Yeah.
Which I don't think is a right direction to go. If you wanted to cut how many guns were being, or for example, make them always spawn lower quality than your level.
Yeah.
all of a sudden going to the trader to buy that green one because you keep only finding the brown pistols is worth it.
But when you're on day 10 and you still haven't found anything but a blunderbuss.
And you're using, maybe iron arrowheads if you had time to actually get your forge.
Yeah.
Because that was the other thing that I realized, that I was like, oh shit, why can't I make a bellows?
Yeah.
Oh, they don't need one for it anymore. We've just taken all the materials from the bellows and put it in with the forge.
Yeah. Now the bellows is an extra piece that you can add to make forging faster.
Which I don't mind. I've been playing for that so long.
Yeah. And
that changed, and I felt fucking retarded. Like, I can't blame Fun Pimps. They put that shit in their fucking change log. But when I was playing it, I just was like, why do I have to buy a book to unlock the bellows and the forge?
Yeah.
Oh, well, the forge, because you don't need it for the forge. But yeah, there were a number of little changes that had made a big difference in the game, that made it so that even I was having trouble wanting to play it, most notably loot. Zombies don't drop much of anything anymore.
Very rarely will they drop anything. I liked being able to loot the corpse. I mean...
Even if there was nothing there.
Nothing there. I don't care if there's nothing there. I got to open something.
And shit, ultimately, they should have something there. Their clothes.
Yeah.
Tattered rags. Yeah. Make it a thing that if you get 10 tattered rags, you can make a cloth fragment out of it. And that makes it so you can loot all the zombies and everything. I think it had to do with balancing of the game. But still, it made it so that I don't even want to kill zombies now because it's a waste.
Yeah.
I'm only killing zombies now because they're in the way or coming at my base.
Yeah, pretty much.
So as opposed to, let's go clear out the town, see what kind of stuff we can get and establish a base. Now let's clear out a couple of houses and we'll just run and go get stuff. I found I'm more nomadic now. I'm less likely to build a final base, which maybe that's what they wanted.
Yeah.
So yeah, for me the game is 100% kind of what I was looking for. It's well within the realm. I know it sounds. It's totally almost. It's totally almost.
100%, 25% there.
It's exactly. Fuck you. This is my show. You don't get to laugh at me on my show. You have to agree with me 100% of the time, mostly.
I'm not good at that.
Mostly, or the 100% of the time?
Agreeing.
Why not both? I
like to argue.
So far, you've said yes, and in total agreement with me for this entire show.
No, I haven't.
Perfect.
No.
Right on board.
No.
We're going to start a Monty Python sketch. It's going to be the argument clinic all over again. Most notable thing about the game for me that needs to be said is single player is garbage.
Oh, absolutely.
Single player for maybe trying to build like a design of a building so you're not wasting your in-game stuff. It's so lonely and boring because of the fact there's no NPCs. By the time you're on day 50 at max, it's so the same thing.
Yeah, and it's harder to get everything. The loot is so low at the moment that it's hard to... By the time I got to day 7 on my solo in Alpha 19 here, I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready. I didn't have an established base to take care of anything. I didn't have ammo to try to take out the zombies. I couldn't defend where I was because I just couldn't get enough stuff.
So you just...
And keep myself alive.
Yeah, because all the micromanaging. So you just, hid?
Pretty much.
What building were you in?
I was in the firehouse.
Yeah, that one's really hard to defend, but it gives you enough open space to make work.
And it's kind of a solid building in and of itself, so they weren't going to collapse it around me, is why I said.
Oh, that's right. That's the one with the bulletproof glass too.
Yes.
Those are that. Okay.
And the walls are all metal and.
Okay.
So.
But yeah, so you just by the time you got to day 7, by doing all your just day-to-day grind stuff of yourself, the trying to make sure you had the food to survive, which again is much lower, trying to get anything special.
Yeah.
Not to mention breaking into places early on in the game is damn near impossible. Yeah. So when I say that the single player game is garbage, I don't mean like the game doesn't work or the game is fundamentally different than multiplayer. It's just there's only so much you can do, and you're essentially always on a never enough time situation with no hope of that ever getting better.
I feel like they have changed gears on it and made it to where it is supposed to be multiplayer now. Even when I started, it was okay to play solo. You were able to do. And with this update, it's almost like they're changing it more to an MMO style,
or even just a multiplayer game.
It's just yeah.
I
guess not MMO because it's not that many people, but it's definitely something that you need to have a group of people in doing. That way you can delegate out those tasks, like you were saying. And so
and to be fair, in their defense of that, the game is a million times better with just one person on top of yourself.
Oh yeah.
More the merrier. You get a whole lot more options for stuff to do. That includes, fighting each other, or working together as a town.
Yeah.
But if you're gonna play the game, you want at least one friend. Otherwise, the game it's the same. It's almost as stressful as life.
Yeah.
In its own way, because there's just never enough time to do anything, and you're on this constant pressure grind.
Yeah.
So, I can see that. I can see that being the thing. It wasn't that bad in Alpha 18 that I remember.
No.
Even with the sleepers, even with the nerfed loot, even with the removal of the... Because they had a different quality system for the longest time, where you would have, I believe it was like 1 through 100 quality or something like that. Mm-hmm. And as you went up certain tiers, that quality would change color to be certain.
Yeah.
That part hasn't changed, but what they've changed is how it drops and how often it drops and what they mean.
Right.
They've simplified everything, which I didn't mind, but it did take out the aspect of feeling like I had a bunch of variety of items of variety quality. Instead, now I have a bunch of items of 5 different quality ranges.
Yeah.
You're going to get brown, yellow, green, blue, and purple, as opposed to a level 17 or a level 70 a green, a level 75 green, level 80 purple, or whatever the numbers were. And I get that.
Right.
But it did feel like I lost the ability to have a variety of items, and they don't let you customize anything. I can't rename a weapon that I really like that's just my fucking weapon.
No, I kind of miss when it comes to the quality of weapons too. When I started, they did the whole, you're this leveling your game and you find something higher than you. When you repair it, it actually drops that level down.
Yeah.
Because you're not strong enough to make it what it was. And that was kind of nice and a little more realistic.
Yeah, I agree. When it came to finding something, I was afraid to repair it because... Yeah. I don't want to lose the quality to it.
Yeah.
But it would make sense that I would lose the quality if I'm not good enough to repair it.
Yeah.
It would, now it's covered in duct tape. It's still purple, though.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, for me, the game really does need other people. Yeah. Otherwise, it's not... the fun level versus the micromanaging level, it doesn't balance. Yeah. However, the game with another person is... I have not had more fun with any other game probably since Super Smash Brothers or even WoW in terms of playing with other people.
Yeah.
I was always a single player game person, so...
Mario Kart was my multiplayer game. Mario Kart by yourself, I mean, sure, there's other people, but real people.
It's fun to just give people shit in games like those.
Yes.
And just be like, you suck, fucking Luigi. If you had to give it a grade, an A through F grade, but first let's give it a before you think about that. Mm-hmm. Let that float in your head. What is an A grade game to you that you already think of as A, regardless of anything?
That's a tough choice.
I know you're a big Bethesda fan, at least old Bethesda.
Fallout 3 is pretty high up there. I think if I had to. When you take into account replayability and Ocarina of Time.
Oh boy, you're going to get a whole bunch of people on your ass for that game.
I love that. I don't care. People hate that game. People want to hate on me for that game.
I love that game too. That's because I have a nostalgia factor for it. Yeah. I was one of the first games I ever played, so definitely I got nostalgia goggles on, but I have heard it used to be so universally loved Now I'm hearing nothing but just criticism about it being just terrible game and shit. I get some points, but it's an awesome fucking game. Fuck you.
It's because the Switch one came out and it's a great game. I beat it and didn't really want to replay it.
Why not?
There just wasn't that wow factor to me. The graphics were great. The story was
Yeah, maybe that was it. Because
Yeah.
I also remember people were bitching about, and this is N64 and the, what was it, the 3DS that also came out on?
Yes.
They kept running into game-breaking bugs.
Oh.
With, like, they would get stuck somewhere that you couldn't leave because you had to finish a quest to clear it out before the door would open back up or something to that, and they couldn't, the thing wasn't there.
Yeah.
Again, this is me talking with individual people about the game. A guy on a website that I did a review of it, and I was asking what he meant by bugs, and he had given me this one. It was literally the only time I'd ever heard about game-breaking bugs for that game, and then I kept hearing other people talking about other ones. So it was one of those things that maybe it had to do with the 3DS. Because I remember I had one game-breaking bug on the 64 when I was playing it the first time, and I got stuck in the whale. I had to restart the whole game. I had beaten the boss inside the whale. I can't remember who it was. I haven't played that game in so fucking long. Who's
The big squid guy.
Yeah.
No, that's the sub boss.
It was a spider. I know there was a bunch of spiders in.
The spider was the Deku tree.
Oh, the Deku tree. Oh, that's right.
The whale, the big boss was. I don't remember.
I don't remember either.
It's been too long.
All I know is I beat the boss, and something happened. The game kind of froze a bit, and then it got back to normal, and I started wandering around, and I couldn't get out of the whale.
Oh.
And I looked it up, and there was nobody. Granted, this was N64.
Yeah.
I believe I had fucking Nintendo Magazine or Game Informer.
Probably both.
I don't remember. I just remember I bought it because it had a bunch of tips and tricks in it for Ocarina of Time, and I like to read shit like that. Not one thing mentioned, and I want to say that was before I had internet.
Yeah.
On a non. Those were the days.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so Ocarina of Time would be an A game for you at least, or would that be more like a B game because it had no replayability?
Oh, I've replayed Ocarina of Time more times than I can count. So.
Okay.
The one for the Switch is the one I didn't want to play.
Oh, did they change something for the Switch?
It wasn't Ocarina of Time. It was the new.
Right. Okay.
What is it called? Sky. I don't even remember what it's called now. I sold
It just didn't fucking.
I sold my Switch, so I don't even know.
It was bad timing. You sold it right before Animal Crossing came out.
Don't remind me.
So Ocarina of Time would be an A game then, yes? A game you consider to be A.
Yeah.
Okay. Compared to that one and using that as a frame of reference, what would be like an F game? The one that you've played that you fucking hated.
Oh.
I know I'm dropping you on the spot trying to come up with games you don't like. Most of the time we don't remember games we don't like. We only play them a little bit and then move right the fuck on.
What was that game?
Can't remember.
Pokemon Snap. That was the stupidest game ever. The stupidest game ever.
I'm with you on that one being an F. All right, so we're using Nintendo as our gauge of fucking grading here. All right, so your game of choice for an A is Ocarina of Time, and failure would be Pokemon Snap. Now, based upon that, now granted, there's two fucking demographic games. Where does 7 Days to Die land on a grading scale to you? As is.
I'd probably give it a solid B.
Solid B? See, I was in the same boat of a B until I kept fucking getting my ass kicked on Alpha 19, so now it's at a C+.
Yeah.
Because I can't play... Right now, I can't play with other people. I don't have quality enough internet connection. Right. So I basically have to play single player all the time, and which means you're pretty much playing one player because you only know me who plays the game.
Yeah.
Although I do know a few people, if you want to get some connections, you want to play some 7 Days with Irate Bear.
Sure.
Yeah. Hey, Irate Bear, you need to hook us up. She'll play with you. She'll have a good time. So yeah, for me it's a C+, borderline B-.
Yeah.
Are you laughing at me?
Yes.
Why are you laughing at me? What the fuck?
My brain does funny things. That was just
Moving
on.
Moving right along. The reason it's not a higher grade is one, because they keep fucking, it's still an alpha. That's not an excuse anymore.
Yeah.
Finish your fucking game. And if you want to make changes to it later, you can do that at any time. You
Right.
really can. You've already proven that we will continue to play this game no matter what you do. Stop acting like it's an unfinished game.
Yeah. It's just kind of a man up moment. Call it a game, or
And either add some NPCs to either just the single player,
yeah,
or if you want to add them to the multiplayer, just diminish how many are there because we're already playing with other people. On the very grounds of being able to delegate some jobs.
Yeah.
There's just not enough time in the game to chop trees, punch grass, dig for soil, and go out look for food on a constant repeat. You either have to pick one
Yeah.
and do that, or get a survivor and be like, here's an axe, chop down trees for the rest of your fucking life.
Right? The other thing I would totally add, if we're gonna go with, why can't we domesticate these goddamn animals?
Yeah.
There's chickens running around. Let's build a fence and keep the chickens in.
Yeah.
Have a chicken farm. They'll lay eggs. You get feathers. You get meat. Why can't we do that?
Here's another question.
Why are there no zombie chickens?
Well, that's a little too deep for me. Going into zombie chicken
I
mode.
want a zombie chicken.
You want zombie chickens? Why?
Because there's a zombie vulture. Why is there not a regular vulture?
I think it would be better if we had regular vultures and no zombie chickens. I don't like chickens. I don't want to be running from chickens now. That would be crazy. I already run from pigs. Fucking pigs are hard now.
I don't want to talk about pigs.
But yeah, no, domesticating would be great, or at the very least, the ability to build a chicken coop that would get chickens spawning out of it or something within game. Here's another thought: we can build cars, we can build mini bikes, we can build bikes. Why can't we build robots? Something automated that could do something
Other than turrets.
Yeah, other than shit. Set up a lawnmower with a cord and have it roll around, and then you can pull out the bag and have a bunch of grass.
Dude, that'd be cool.
You know, it's just a short-lived thing that goes in circles until it runs out of thing and then stops. Then you go draw from the lawnmower.
I want a sawmill now.
Yeah, that would work too. But NPCs would solve most of that problem. Yeah. It would also allow them to add an element to the game of maybe even like a governmental side where you're if you wanted.
Yeah.
Ultimately, it would probably be less immersive that way.
Yeah.
But you could. And it would certainly give the realism of having a civilization, quote unquote, if some of your NPCs don't get along because of their coding have differing personalities, quote unquote. That
would be cool, but I feel like you're getting a little more into that Fallout 4 thing.
Exactly, and I think it would also make the game a little extra convoluted. But adding the ability to domesticate would certainly improve it, and I definitely think they need to figure out a way to better create hordes so that it actually feels like, for example, if I'm rolling into a city, I shouldn't be able to just roll around wherever the fuck I want. I should run into giant piles of zombies that want me dead all the time.
Oh yeah.
But they don't have that.
One or two wandering around is kind of.
Yeah, I would trade the vultures. I would fucking trade the dogs, to be perfectly honest with you. It's fine by me. I would trade the vultures. I would trade should I get rid of the snakes too? As much as they're kind of neat, they're pointless. They're slow, they're stupid, and impossible to fucking hit.
Without a shotgun.
Yeah. and even then, you're probably wasting a couple of shells. So yeah, other than that, I'd say it's pretty much a finished game. Why it's an alpha, I don't know. Is there anything that you would like to see other than the domestication and the better ladder system? Anything that would make the game just kind of like, I love this game. I'll never give this game up. Probably never give this game up anyway, but what would be something that you would like to see? I love that they've added cars and you could sit and your friends could jump in the car with you and drive around. I mean, it's kind of boring to be the passenger, but it is anyway. That was cool.
Yeah.
You know, if somebody had a mini bike and you didn't, you're fucked. But if somebody has a truck and you don't, you're not fucked.
Right. That's a good question. Why can't we build a boat?
Because they haven't even figured out fucking water yet.
I think it'd be cool to cruise down the river, though.
I agree, but they haven't figured out fucking water yet.
I want a boat. I don't care.
I believe it. I would totally take a boat. But I would also take, here's a simple one. Granted, it's totally stealing from Fallout 3. A rebreather. A mask to put on so that I can go underwater.
That would be,
Give me a fucking oxygen
that.
tank. That would be cool.
My dumbass didn't even think of that.
Here's one thing that I did think of that I forgot to mention earlier when we were talking about things that were kind of wrong with the game. Mm-hmm. How come gas is still good after?
Well, actually, they kind of nerfed that a little too. You can't loot
Pumps anymore?
Pumps anymore. They're not lootable. You have to take them apart to get the gas out of them, which a little more realistic.
But still, the gas would still be stale and probably.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
All right. Well, I think that about covers 7 Days to Die. Is it one that you would recommend to other people?
Oh yeah.
What kind of people? Because I clearly I'm not going to recommend this to like sports gamers or younger kids. It's too violent. There's a lot of blood in it. But even then, most kids don't care about that.
That's true. If you like to kind of build your own stuff, there's so many different types of blocks, and they've added the shapes to a single block now versus having to build the different shapes.
Yep.
Makes it really, you can build almost anything you want.
I think that was the thing I used to turn you on to the game because you're a Sims player.
Oh, I love Sims.
So
Sims is my A+ game.
Yeah. Yeah, that's retarded. The aspect of the game that is a lot of people were bitching about was the fact that was as close to Minecraft as it was.
Yeah.
That part. But it's done its own thing to be so creative. You can there's a maximum limitation to Minecraft. You can build lots of stuff in Minecraft because of the graphics and the simplest.
Yeah.
This you can almost build fucking anything.
Yeah. And some of the prefabs they have are gorgeous too. And I've tried to recreate stuff and failed, but that's
a whole other thing.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, for me, I would definitely anybody who's a fan of zombies.
Yeah.
If you're more into story, avoid this game because this game has at best a hinted at story, and that's about it.
Yeah.
The other thing that would probably people who like casual gaming. Mm-hmm. You can casually play this game, but if you take too long to get back to it, you'll completely forget what the fuck you were doing.
Oh yeah. Easy.
I've jumped into so many games where I was like, okay, I'm ready to play.
What was I doing?
And then go to look at my chest and be like, I really need to be better organized. This is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, let's end it here. Have ourselves a good night. It's getting late, but I'm very glad you came on with me. Would you like to maybe come back on and do this again?
Sure.
Okay. Because I wanted to review something else that you've had just a smidgen bit of exposure to, but I'd like you to give it another listen. I want to review Dr. Randomer Cam's new album. What was it? The Name with No Band?
Yeah.
Yeah. I recently shilled out a bunch of money for it. I mean, a bunch, boatloads, like about $10, and bought his album. And it's kind of growing on me.
Yeah.
I'm not going to spoil my own review of it, but it's growing on me. You want to talk about it next time?
Sure.
All right. Well, say goodbye to the audience because they're going to care that you said goodbye to them.
Oh, yeah. Bye, guys.